After North Carolina beat Duke on Saturday night, can they stay on a roll facing Miami on South Beach?
This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And right out of the gate, we'll talk college basketball. We have a few college basketball games, also an NBA game, and a 3-0 night we'll review as well. And let's begin in the ACC. Lee Sterling in on the joke. Game not even close to South Beach, but if you're from Miami, you hear that. The national announcers say that. Nope, not true. It's in Coral Gables, not close to the beach. Let's talk about the Tar Heels and the Hurricanes for our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
North Carolina, they came back and beat Duke on Saturday, a game the Blue Devils were up most of the way. Tar Heels came back, won. They charged the court. You're North Carolina. You shouldn't be charging the court against anybody, even if it's Duke. It made no sense at all. And then they had Duke's staff got hit with a punch or something. It just was out of control. You can't be doing that. So anyway, North Carolina, they head to Coral Gables tonight to take on Miami. And the Hurricanes off a win over Boston College. They've been playing very, very well in Jay Lucas's first season as head coach, succeeding Jim Larinaga. Tar Heels a short favorite tonight, Lee. So with all that being said, what do you like with UNC and Miami?
Well, first off, Miami does not play University of Miami basketball team in South Beach, although a lot of announcers like to say that when they come on. They actually play about a mile away from the Big Cheese, where you and I have been many times for Italian food, cheap Italian food that's decent. It's actually almost right across the street from where I get my computer fixed, but they can't mention that. But I go to a lot of the games. I think I know Miami pretty well, watch a lot of ACC basketball. The game Saturday night, North Carolina's win against Duke, incredible game. I mean, that's why you watch college basketball, the rivalry, the competition, and the comeback. I mean, to be trailing probably 98% of the game and to come back and win it on that three-pointer, incredible. So you're saying, can they get back up? After partying probably all night, they went to the frat parties, and they were every guy on the team was, handed a beer and had some fun. And can they go to the South Beach? No, not South Beach, Coral Gables, and pull off a win? It's going to be a sold-out crowd, big crowd for this Miami team. And Miami teams come from nowhere. They were one of the worst teams in the country last year. Jim Larinaga quit mid-season. Roster was gutted. Zero. That's right. 0 players returned. And Jai Luke has done an incredible job. Love what he's doing. If he continues this, he's not going to be here in 2 or 3 years. Someone is going to pay him some big money to move on. But he can recruit. He can coach. He's actually had some injuries he's had to work through. And I think they're sitting at a lot of people think they'll be like a 10, 11 seed right now. But they need a win like this to get them into the big dance. Now, they're going to face the North Carolina team, very efficient on offense, averaging almost 83 points per game, just giving up 70 per game. Really good on as far as on the boards. Almost 40 rebounds per game. That's from Miami, not quite as good. Miami just at 38 rebounds. They have trouble against teams that have an inside presence. They just don't have big guys. They don't have the 6'11", 7-foot bruisers. And that's what teams like Duke and North Carolina have, and that's been their problem. Occasionally they can beat them, but they've got to shoot at a high level here. So I think that the difference here is rebounding, interior defense, and Miami just does not shoot the three ball real well. It's hard for them to find guys, and they have trouble when guys are crowding them in space from the three-point line. So just think also a lot of steals. This North Carolina team creates a lot of problems as far as they get some easy turnovers and baskets. So I'm going to lay the 1 point here. I'm going to lay the 1 point here and take North Carolina here. going to be a level 2 lock. Don't like going against my Canes, but I like North Carolina tonight. I think they're the right side against the Miami Hurricanes.
According to Ken Palm, Miami ranks 18th out of 18 teams in the ACC strength of schedule. So they played the weakest schedule so far inside conference play. They're 7-3. North Carolina 7-3. And you look back at who Miami has beaten so far in the league, and again, they were awful. They were a few years removed from being in the Final Four, and last year just things totally fell apart. So this is a great comeback story for them. But at the same time, you've beaten Pittsburgh, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Syracuse, Stanford, and Boston College.
Right.
That's not Duke, Virginia, Clemson. Tonight you have North Carolina, Virginia, teams like that. Like, you have got to play all these teams coming up. So I just think with Miami, it's been a little smoke and mirrors with their schedule so far. So we'll see how it turns out. Again, North Carolina, the thing on their side is can you avoid the letdown after the big win over your rival coming back on Saturday night? So
it might be the sand on South Beach. They're probably walking on the beach getting tans this afternoon. So just kidding. Trust me.
Yeah.
These college coaches don't allow them to stay on South Beach and roam there and hit the club. Just doesn't happen.
No, Hubert Davis definitely seems no nonsense. He's not going to deal with that. All right, so last night, Lee, perfect 3-0 on the show. And post-football, first of all, with Kansas against Arizona, you had the Jayhawks, and they were down most of that game. They came back and won. Darren Peterson didn't play. Story was flu-like symptoms, and he ends up sitting out. And there is a great nickname I saw for Darren Peterson. It's DNP. Because this guy has sat out so many games this year. He's really good, and again, he sat a lot of the big games. But with Kansas, Bill Self is still undefeated at home on big Mondays, which is incredible in his career. But the Jayhawks a rare underdog spot, and they came through.
Yep, they sure did. And just shows you, I talked about home court advantage. If he plays, they win the game easy. Home court advantage, that place is, every time someone goes there, and I've never been there to see a basketball game, the first thing they tell me when they call me afterwards, like, oh my God, that place is rocking. So one of the best home court advantages you'll ever find in college basketball came through for us last night.
Yeah, I've been to several games there, and just the students are all into it. Small place. It's great. It really is a great college basketball atmosphere. Now, the other two games we had, it took us overtime. We won with Bradley against Belmont in the Missouri Valley. Belmont, one of the top teams in the league, and Bradley was up for most of that game. Belmont came back, took the lead late, and then Bradley hit a 3 to force overtime. Bradley won by 11 in overtime, so the points didn't even matter at that point. But at least it looked good for a while, and didn't look good, but then in the end, it was a win.
That's right. So you got to win the close games. You want a 3-0, 4-0 day. Got to win those close games. Last night we won the close games. We were on the right side clearly in that game. They were leading more times than not in that game. And, I just don't understand why more teams just don't foul when they're up 3 points. Just as soon as the ball gets, thrown in, foul the guy, make them shoot 2 free throws, go down at the other end when they foul you and make them, usually go 60, 70 feet in 2-3 seconds. Chances are it's not going to happen. Coaches are just scared.
Yeah, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And in the NBA, even though you had a bit of a fracas in that Pistons-Hornets game, Detroit came through, and they won on the road, ending Charlotte's winning streak. So that was a good one. The Hornets played well early, but the Pistons pulled away.
Yep, that's what they just more talent and better really in every facet of the game. Give Charlotte credit for the run that they had, this 9-game winning streak, but they're limited. They're not going to beat many good teams.
Now, our second college basketball play we have inside the Atlantic 10 tonight. Not a huge schedule in college basketball, but a lot of quality matchups. And we'll have a short coming up later on our YouTube channel for Purdue and Nebraska, which Lee is going to have. But now we're going to go to the Atlantic 10 with our hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
We're going to take the points tonight with the Fordham Rams, and they are on the road at St. Joe's, and right now that number sitting at 5. And a couple notes here on Fordham. Number one, Fordham off back-to-back home losses to VCU and St. Bonaventure, now hitting the road where they've actually been competitive on the road of late. But also this number I like. So St. Joe's just played George Mason, one of the best defensive teams in the conference. They shot a season-low 38.5% on effective field goal percentage. Fordham, on the other side, allowed a season-high 65% effective field goal percentage against St. Bonaventure. So you have a team that had a terrible shooting game against a team that had a bad defensive game. So the thought would be, oh, well, St. Joe's is just going to bounce back, but that's not necessarily the case here. So St. Joe's was on an 8-0 ATS run before the loss to George Mason. In Atlantic 10 play, they have not laid more than 2.5 points. They've done a lot of that damage as a dog. Their biggest favorite spot, 2.5. Now you're laying 5. I like Fordham here. Let's take the points with the Rams against the Hawks of St. Joe's in tonight's college basketball hidden gem.
I think also the home court advantage might come into play here. I think you might be able to do something here with that. So people underestimate in conference play home court advantage. So let's take advantage of it. You're hitting these hidden gems, so let's keep rolling.
Yeah, let's see if Fordham can take care of business tonight. So we do have coming up still an NBA blowout, the Spurs and the Lakers. Only 4 games in the NBA this evening, and we will hit on that game in Los Angeles. That is all straight ahead. You are listening to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we have reached that time. You know what time it is. We're at the Winter Games. They are officially here. And if you're anything like us, you're locking in for events you only get to see on the biggest stage every 4 years. And that's why following the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports you care about the most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. For instance, curling. I know you like to watch curling. You could have a wager on that. Also, women's hockey. That is underway. Men's hockey is going to start pretty soon as well. And you have the skiing, you have the bobsledding, you have the luge, you have the figure skating, so many different things, speed skating, a lot of different events that you can wager on. And it does keep your attention here for a few weeks in Milan. And you can keep that Olympic experience engaging from start to finish at FanDuel. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And the NBA tonight, just 4 games in the league. And we have no hockey, so not a lot going on, but still there are games. So there's still some action. And the late night affair in LA, the Spurs and the Lakers hooking up. San Antonio, a huge favorite. It's time now for our NBA blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
We talked yesterday, Lee, about the Pistons and their incredible record so far. The San Antonio Spurs at 36-16. They seemed dead in the water when Popovich was out and when Wembanyama wasn't playing. But now with him in there, with De'Aaron Fox in there healthy, it's a really good team in the Southwest Division in the Western Conference. They've beaten Oklahoma City 4 times this year. Now they're facing the Lakers tonight. Lakers a little dinged up. Luka. We'll see what his status is, but what do you like with San Antonio laying the points against LA?
I mean, what a job they've done in absolutely rebuilding this team. Obviously, getting Victor Wembanyama, that's number one. But the trade to get De'Aaron Fox, these 2 guys, Wembanyama averages almost 24 points per game, over 11 rebounds. De'Aaron Fox, second on the team, averaging 19.5 points per game, and then Stephon Castle, over 17. Devin Vassell, 14. I mean, this isn't the big 3. This is the big 4, and their bench isn't bad either. Keldon Johnson, averaging over 13.5 points per game. They play hard. They rebound. They shoot the basketball. Well coached. And LA, I've gone with them a couple times, but I'm just going against them a lot more. It looks like Luka, the line tells you he's not going to play. If he plays, the line's 4.5. Line's 8.5. They're telling you he's not going to play in this game here. DeAndre Ayton even if he plays, he's a game time decision. He's gotten eaten up inside. He's soft as a pillow. Their offense is averaging 116 points per game, but they're giving up 115.8 points per game. In the lane, they don't do anything. They don't rebound without Luka. I mean, LeBron just walks the ball up here. This is a slow-down team against a team that can beat you in every facet. Let's go with San Antonio big here. We're going to go with a blowout, San Antonio big over LA.
If you want quickly to discuss Paramount Sports, what's going on now that football season's over, now with basketball, pretty much the only thing in town.
UFC. Oh, we've been on a roll. You want to get our UFC selections? Running a special the entire year. That's right. Entire year, 365 days of UFC selections. 44 cards per year, just $5.97. Comes out to $13 per card. Jump on that. That picks back up next week. Basketball and hockey, been on a roll, having great seasons. Check out all the specials, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as the podcast you could find on Spotify or Apple. Type in Locked On Bets. You'll be all set. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in for this edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.